so far away.
I know. You sitting comfortably.
Kind of.
Buckle up. So far today, we've heard some really impressive insights from speakers at both Brainlabs and Meta. We've been talking about strategies on how to gain the upper hand, break the rules, and smash the boundaries of social media excellence. But it's one thing talking about breaking the rules. It's completely another story actually following through with it. And to do that, you need a trusted partner in crime, one that is legally and ASA compliant in order to work with. And we are lucky enough to have that in the influencer team at Brainlabs. Success hinges on not only bringing your client on board for the journey, but also their entire organization and often many other key stakeholders. The alignment is essential for truly pushing the envelope and achieving remarkable results for brands. So with that in mind, I'm so grateful to be joined by Francesca Starling, Senior Global Brand Manager at Designer Parfums. So Designer Parfums is a rapidly growing global fragrance company that develops and distributes a diverse range of brands from heritage classics to celebrity-inspired lifestyle fragrances. They're both brand owners and licensees of renowned fragrances that include Playboy, Cerruti, Hawaiian Tropic, Jennifer Lopez, and my personal favorite, Ariana Grande.
How dare you?
To get us started, it would be amazing if you could talk to us a little bit about your career so far and the role that you play at Designer Parfums.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here today and for allowing me to live out my Britney Spears fantasy. So thank you for that one. I'm Francesca Starling, and I head up the Playboy Fragrances global brand team. And I'm responsible for everything from new product development through to global positioning, license management, all our global marketing team who are here today, and our local implementation into markets. So unlike me, Playboy needs no introduction. It's a truly bold, groundbreaking brand that really allows us a lot of flexibility. When I joined the team, I was tasked with really trying to reach a new audience, which is part of the journey we've been on together. So we needed to reach more of a Gen Z audience and appeal more to a female demographic. When I started, our global mix of sales was 75% male SKU sales and 25% female. Now today, we've tipped the scales slightly the other way, and we're actually at 45% male sales and 55% female sales. So we've been on a great journey together. And now also in terms of our audience that's most engaged, it's our 13 to 17-year-olds. So again, it's really helped us build that connection authentically with our audience.
So to kick us off, I wanted to start by sort of flagging the fact that many brands will hesitate to give up creative control. So what was it that first convinced you to let go of the reins and allow influencers to create content for your brand?
Yeah, well, we've definitely been on a journey together since we started working with you a year ago. From the beginning, I was convinced of the authentic connection that influencers could have with our new target consumer, that younger demographic. I knew that they could help us reach a new audience whilst remaining true to our core values. That said, as a licensee, relinquishing creative control can be a challenging process with lots of stakeholders. So in the case of Playboy, we have to balance expectations of both our internal Designer Parfums teams, but also the Playboy, the mother brand that sits in LA, as well as our local distributors in each market that we might be implementing a campaign in. On top of this, increasingly, we're now seeing that retailers are seeing social media as a key bargaining tool when negotiating for in-store visibility or partnership packages. So we also have them in the mix now. With so many stakeholders, staying true to your original vision and to Playboy Fragrances as a brand can be a little bit challenging. However, over time, together, we've really found our niche, and through consistent performance, we've eased concerns of other parties, which has then allowed us to gradually hand over more creative control to influencers.
So what it feels to me is like finding the balance between creative control and influencer freedom has been something of a balancing act and trial and error for you guys in our journey together. Are you able to expand a little bit more on how you were able to find that niche and that perfect balance between the Playboy fragrance brand and that influencer creativity?
Yeah, absolutely. We started with a super clear vision of what we wanted that initially translated into fairly rigid influencer guidelines. And I can see everyone from the team over there looking at me on that one. We have slowly relaxed over time. And what we did is really where we had a roster in a particular country that allowed us a little bit more flexibility, we would include a few wild cards within that roster. And then it became clear from the data that where we allowed influencers more flexibility, the results spoke for themselves and we got much better results. They have a huge following for a reason. Who are we really to tell them what to do in the terms of their content? So as we gathered more data for what works on the brand, we gained more confidence in our own instincts. And then rather than strictly adhering to guidelines, it became about selecting the right influencers for the content pillars that we wanted to activate within. Our strong partnership with Playboy, the mother brand, I have to admit, does help because not all licensee relationships are like this. They're very supportive and they do allow us a lot of flexibility. Now, a year into our partnership, we have identified 4 content pillars that are key to driving high engagement for Playboy fragrances. And while review style probably comes as no surprise to anyone that that's a great content pillar for us, one that has surprised a lot of us is the comedy pillar.
So we've already heard today from Costas and Celeste that here at Brainlabs, testing and learning is absolutely central to everything that we do at Brainlabs. It's an internal ethos and it's an external ethos as well. So we work in an agile manner, experimenting with lots of different strategies, collecting small-scale pilots, and then scaling at pace. And then, if necessary, along the way, if an adjustment needs to be made, we'll change that and we'll go again. With Designer Parfums, we've achieved a strong balance between influencer content that has got the brand-focused, product-focused side of things, and then, to Celeste's point again earlier, got the emotional connection as well. It's that additional message that really connects the brand and the consumer. So you've emphasized, and we talk about this all the time, the importance of gut instinct and going with your gut and getting your crystal ball out and predicting things when it comes to influencers where you can. So how have data-driven insights specifically complemented this and enhanced your ability to navigate and cut through the noise in the decision-making process?
Well, the amazing team at Brainlabs built a bespoke data tracking tool for us that overlays social media metrics over our weekly sellout data. So it allows us to see the positive correlation between any influencer activity, paid media activity we might do, and our sales. That, combined with our organic and paid media analysis, has really helped define our strategy and help us keep improving month on month in all of our markets. So the comedy pillar that we mentioned a moment ago, I'm going to call myself out here. I was a little bit skeptical about it at the beginning.
That's fair, though. It's not typical of a fragrance brand to be doing comedic content.
Right. I wasn't sure how it fit in with our global brand identity, and I wasn't convinced that it would translate into sales. I couldn't see that someone would watch a funny advert on their phone and then click through to buy a fragrance blind from that advert. But I'm very pleased to say that I was completely wrong. And we tested first in Germany, and we found that all of our best performing and data driving sales all came from our comedic pieces. Then that obviously gave us the confidence to roll that out globally. So by relinquishing control, allowing the influencer personalities to come across, we had really helped also move Playboy fragrances away from previous perceptions, whilst, as you say, differentiating it from other fragrance brands. And it really paid off. So between October 2023 and March 2024, we drove an average organic engagement rate of 16.1%, which is almost unheard of.
That's amazing. And we're going to show you guys later a little bit of this content so you can see what good looks like.
Yeah, so for context, before we play this, influencer Jack Joseph was part of our UK campaign for the launch of our new product range in Boots and Superdrug. There were actually 9 influencers as part of this roster, but Jack's one piece alone drove 40% of impressions and over 50% of click-through to retailer. And importantly, we saw an increase in sales in the week that this piece of content went live.
It's quite nice here, isn't
It's
it?
lovely, isn't it?
Here you go, sir. Enjoy your meal.
Okay. Did you see that?
See what?
She was hitting on me, Sam. Anyway, so that's...
Excuse me, sir, you dropped your keys.
Oh, sorry, love, not interested. Gordon Bennett, my life.
No, you forgot your keys, sir.
Yep, heard that one before, not going to fall for it again.
Sorry, sir. Can I grab your signature for this petition?
Oh, classic. Let me guess, you want my number as well?
Sure, yeah.
Gets boring after a while. Thought that, you know...
Sorry,
it's,
is anyone using this?
Oh, bloody hell. Yes, you can sit with us.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, she fancies me. Yeah.
Sorry, you smell amazing. What fragrance are you wearing?
Oh, thank you, my lady. Just this Playboy fragrance.
Wow, it smells so good. I'm going to get some for my boyfriend.
Oh, are ya?
Yeah.
Sure you are.
What?
Your boyfriend. Good one.
Okay, see you later.
My life is like a movie sometimes, honestly. Rom-com.
So as you can see from the comments on the screen, the response to this content has been incredibly positive. One that we haven't included here that we also loved was somebody saying that this is how advertising should be done. We actually saw really similar sentiment with another piece of content that just went live recently, last week actually, for Summer Fox, in which comments included, watch them use this for advertising. But somebody else jumped into that, which wasn't us, by the way, with the response, it is an ad, lol. As influencer marketers, this is what we dream of, not only because we're giving ourselves pats on the back for being fantastic at our jobs, but people are really seeing the connection between the influencer and the brand and see it as being a seamless integration, so good that it could be advertising when it is. We also really like to comment on this as well, where somebody said, I swear I can smell it just by how you're describing it. Obviously, that smells like success to us, and it helps us get past the purchase barrier that when trying to sell a fragrance through social media, you can't actually smell it. So yeah, this makes us very happy. So just to kind of go back to one of your earlier points that we've touched on, multiple stakeholders and taking everybody on a journey with you. You may be willing to take the risks, but not everybody's going to do that. It sounds like the tool that's been developed that correlates sales to influencer marketing is a real tool in helping drive that conversation internally and putting minds at ease when it comes to taking risks and giving control to influencers. I'd imagine that's particularly helpful when it comes to people from a non-digital marketing or brand background.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure my boss is going to watch this, so I'll be careful what I say. But you're right, it's been a game changer for us, the data tool, because even if someone doesn't understand the typical social media metrics, engagement rates, impressions, etc., they understand the sales data. So it's really helped us convince everyone in the business of the importance of influencer marketing.
And a cheeky plug to our teams that are both here and the incredible work that's been done. It's also earned us a nomination for a Global Performance Marketing Award, or two actually, for which we are going to the ceremony in 2 weeks. So fingers crossed that we can walk away with a couple of those as well. So we've spoken today a lot about the rapidity of the landscape in social media and how it's changing so quickly. We also know that influencers are sometimes something unto themselves on their adventures. How do you adapt to unexpected outcomes or trends when working with the influencers, and what strategies do you leverage in order to make the most out of those opportunities for the brand?
Yeah, well, we all know that to succeed in the fast-paced social media world, we need to be agile and react quickly. But we've got some live examples of how we've implemented that in this campaign. So one of the examples, actually, I noticed in Celeste's part was on screen, and that was the trend when Tube Girl emerged. So we worked with the Brainlabs teams really closely and quickly to identify the German equivalent, which was the Berlin Tube Girl. And that resulted in one of our best performing pieces of content from the whole 6-month campaign. Another unexpected opportunity came when Olivia Pearson, who's one of Kim K's besties, actually contacted us, which we couldn't believe at the time. But she contacted us after seeing a piece of content from one of our UK influencers. And although the original piece of content wasn't one of our best performing, it connected us with other influential figures. And it's interesting because from the first conversations that we had with Brainlabs, we've been talking about this idea of who influences the influencers, which we think is really exciting to think about, who influences the influencers. And it was really part of our strategy to gain user-generated content and to try and achieve the ultimate goal of all brands, the elusive virality.
That's such an interesting approach, influencing the influencers. So effectively, what you're trying to do is tap into the influencer ecosystem and create that ripple effect that will then become waves.
Yeah, exactly that. And we had this again a couple of weeks ago when Paul Reacts contacted us, and he is, for anyone who's not in the fragrance industry, he's like the king of fragrance reviews. We love him. When he contacted us, you genuinely would have thought Beyonce had called us because we were jumping around screaming when, when he knew who we were. But he is an American influencer, and 78% of his audience is based in the USA, and we haven't launched the new range in the US yet, but we still jumped on that opportunity to work with him because we know how influential he is within the fragrance community and the opportunity that could arise from that.
I mean, building on what you've shared about jumping on these opportunities and just absolutely going for it with everything, we have no doubt that what you're going to be doing with Paul Reacts is going to have absolute ripples across the influencer world and attract a lot more attention for the brand and having those influencers going directly to you guys. So continuing to look to the future, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're coming to the end of 2024. We're looking to 2025. We're all doing our kind of brand planning for next year. How do you see influencer marketing evolving and affecting your marketing strategy?
Yeah, well, for us, creativity will always be king. While we know the importance of being agile and reacting quickly to trends, if you can create a trend, you don't have to react quickly to it. So trust the process, believe in the influencers you're working with, be bold. Our learnings have shown that when you take a risk, it really does pay off. I always like to think about what I want to see when I'm scrolling through my feed. If you enjoy the content, the likelihood is that your consumer base will too. So have fun with it. How lucky are we that we work in an industry where we get to have a laugh? I will leave you with a Playboy mantra that we have internally in our team, which is stay playful. And I really think that applies here.
Well, that was incredibly insightful. Thank you so much for your time. I've so enjoyed working on this with you. Hopefully, everybody, after hearing from Francesca, you're feeling as inspired and energized and as playful as I am, ready to push the boundaries and redefine the future of high-performing influencer marketing. So can we please have a warm round of applause for Francesca?
I got you.